As Amy mentioned, the name of the game here with Flywire is reducing the friction in AR. So Flywire, we're a publicly traded global payments company at our core. And what we're looking at here is our AR automation software branded as Invoiced. So when we go through this demo, Flywire is the merchant processor on the back a lot of these transactions. As you know, what we're focused on is getting your invoices paid faster, easier, with more automation and less manual effort, helping you folks take the guesswork out of the collection process, put a lot of that on autopilot, and then reduce the friction between you and your customers when it comes to collecting receivables anywhere across the world. So not just here in the US, but if you had folks overseas, from a customer standpoint, being able to transact in pretty much any currency or country out there. So what we're looking at is kind of the dashboard homepage when you come in the system. We're bringing a lot of metrics that are super important for finance teams to keep on track of, whether it's DSO, collection effective index, just a nice dashboard interface. If what we're looking to report on isn't right there in the dashboard, we have 30 out of the box reports ready to run as well. And then you can also come in here and create your own custom reports pretty much based off any data that we have access to. So just wanted to check the box on, hey, if we're trying to visualize something related to our outstanding receivables, our collection efforts, we likely can build that out. The action items up here are actually super important. So based on how you're setting up the system is going to determine what goes on your team's to-do list or their action items at the beginning of the day. So for example, you might have your AR team log in at the beginning of the day and it's identified 10 invoices, 10 customers, and 10 payments that need our attention, that we've kind of laid the ground rules down and say, hey, when this happens, I want my team alerted this way, while the automation continues to touch every other invoice in your portfolio. So you kind of have the confidence that nothing's slipping through the cracks and my team's getting alerted exactly when they need to step in with the right manner, such as place a call to this customer. Hey, this payment came in and wasn't able to auto match. We need you to look at it. Those are some examples. So where I'm going to shift towards now is more towards the visibility and the automation that I had referenced earlier. So if I jump into an example customer here, and again, you can search for customers anywhere within the solution. You can continue to drill down really anywhere that you're working. When you see a customer or an invoice, click into it and view more information. So what we're looking at here is our internal view of one of our customers, where typically the data that we have access to here lives across our ERP, our Excel sheets, our inbox, our sticky notes, our CRM. We want to give it one central home so we can view everything with respect to their open invoices, prior payments this customer's made, information, any payment methods they have saved on file, their contacts, any email communications recently. Over here in this history tab is going to be basically an audit trail of everything regarding this customer. So all the times I've reached out, all the communication we've had, any notes that were logged. So if I'm putting on my controller hat and want to know what's happening with any of my customers in real time, I don't need to go ping my AR team, walk over to their desk. They need to tell me what happened in the last conversation. I can see all that. And then we also get some reporting at the customer level as well. What's really unique about this is we want to help identify who your worst paying customers are, because what we're going to do with that data and what our best customers will do is use that to drive your decision-making as it relates to how I want to automate this customer's collections. So we don't view collection automation as a one-size-fits-all approach. You know, you might have different groups of customers that might fall into different buckets, such as in this case, a lot of red here on this customer scorecard, a 93 days to pay DSO. I mean, this is pretty unrealistic, but this would be identified as a very slow paying customer. So we might want to put them on a slow paying workflow, which is going to be more proactive, sending more automated emails earlier on in the process. An example might be 2 or 3 emails before the due date, maybe a call before the due date, an email on the due date, maybe a few emails after the due date as well. So you're able to fully customize what is contained in these emails, what's being sent, when it's being sent. The email templates are super customizable. So we're pulling data straight out of Dynamics. into these emails. They're also being delivered from your email address with your logo on it. So the end result is a very personal email that gets sent at a very specific day within the cycle. Obviously we might want to attach that invoice as a PDF as well. So the typical flow is invoice created in Dynamics, syncs over directly to Invoiced, and then we send it on that collection automation journey. And then obviously with that example I mentioned earlier, you might have a group of customers that are very strategic, very good relationship with, that are only getting 1 or 2 emails throughout the process with different templates, compared to those more mom and pop type customers that need that nudging with more frequent reminders and different email templates. So what one of those emails might look like is something like this. Oh, that's a pretty basic template there. But essentially you can kind of create these emails, obviously, as we saw in that template creation, to be as wordy or straight to the point as you would like. So this is an example of me playing the role of one of your folks' customers. So I just received this email. I am your customer. My information is in here, my balance, and it's prompting me with a link to go ahead and pay my invoice. So if I press this link, this is where I am brought. So again, we've shifted from your internal AR finance team's view of the solution to what your customers would see when they're prompted to press that link through the email, which is this. So in this case, you guys being the user of our system are the good places, your company name. So this would have your name, your logo. Again, I'm your customer. I now have access to a lot of information here that will help me not need to reach out to your team, reduce the friction, grab the information that I'm likely looking for in order to make a payment on time. So I can jump into my balance here, view all of my open invoices that make up that balance. Let's jump into this one here as an example, where this PDF will be the same one that lives in Dynamics, so it'll visually look the same, where I can come in here in multiple formats. I can reach out to you if something didn't look right. Hey, I bought 100 parts, you sent me 98. Here's a picture to prove it, whatever the case is. And then go ahead and most importantly, make a payment on one or multiple invoices at once. So in this case, this customer had a card. As the customer, had a card saved on my account. In the event that I wanted to also save maybe an ACH bank account to make these payments with, maybe I want to enroll in auto pay, you guys have the option to be passing down the merchant fee to the payer. So, hey, if you're going to pay with a card, that's fine, but there's going to be a fee to that. If you choose to pay with a bank, there won't be a fee. Different scenarios like that we can help incorporate. And then one of the big differentiators, and going back to the whole Flywire story, is us being the merchant processor with all these transactions as well. So we're not just the interface and connecting you with a processor that we're partners with. We are both the processor and the software. So we can see everything regarding the transactions, help with merchant fees as well. And then what's really unique about us is, let's say the customer making the payment is me in this case. And let's say that I am in the United Kingdom. I'm one of your customers overseas. I now have the ability to come in here, say exactly where I am in the world, and pay with a local payment method in my currency. So I'm paying in GBP from my card or from my bank, and you, the customer, are receiving the exact amount of the transaction in USD to the penny. So I, as your customer, don't have to go procure USD. I don't have to send you a wire, which goes through an intermediate bank, and by the time you get it is $50 or $60 less, making it a reconciliation nightmare. And also, you don't have to worry about setting up an entity in the UK to bill locally, setting up a GBP bank account, all the frustrations there. We're taking the FX risk and exposure off the plate and handling that on your behalf and ensuring that you receive the full amount that you had invoiced for in that currency as well. And we have really strong payment functionality in a lot of markets across the world that are typically hard to receive payments from, like China, Latin America very well, and even alternate payment methods that you or I might not be aware of. In Brazil, for example, Pix and Boleto are two payment methods that like every business pays each other with, that when you open the doors for your customers to start paying with that, the one, just the customer experience, and two, the time and acceleration of those payments coming in on time has proven to make a huge difference. So even if it's just standard ACH and credit card domestically, we do great there. And then when you broaden the horizon to international, is a real game changer. And then any payment made through this portal is going to automatically apply back to Dynamics and close out that invoice from a cash application standpoint. We also do have a cash application module to integrate with your folks' existing bank in the event that, hey, we're getting a lot of payments offline. Customer just sends an ACH directly to you, not through the portal we were just looking at. We can help connect to the bank, see that incoming transaction, use AI to understand what we likely think this payment is for based off all the invoices we have access to from the ERP, and give you a confidence on that match. And maybe if it falls outside the threshold that you want to set, we bring it to your team's attention. So in this case, hey, there's 4 payments that were unapplied that we need your team to take a look at, is kind of the name of the game. So we want to automate, let's say 95% of the payments coming in on the cash application side as well, and bring the rest to your attention. We also do really well in the event that, hey, we're struggling with invoice creation out of our ERP. A lot of folks, I'd say 70% of the time, do it very well in the ERP, but there are some use cases where we can get more creative and actually be the invoice generation engine as well. So we can do just collections to cash, or we can do full invoice generation to cash, depending on the use case. Subscription management, we're very strong in. So if there's a piece of the business that, hey, we have a monthly service, a quarterly service, whatever it is, we can automate the invoice generation on that schedule, have folks maybe with saved payment methods, and we're enrolling them in auto pay. So every month you don't have to worry about creating the invoice and collecting the payment. We just do that on your behalf and go update Dynamics when that takes place. So a lot of moving pieces and puzzles here that we can solve for. Really, if there's any question or issue out there related to just our order to cash process, bringing funds into the business, accelerating our cash flow, driving our DSO down, those are all huge areas where we're built to help with really any piece of that process that might need fixing. We can kind of tailor the solution specifically towards that. Some of the other things that are super from just a visibility standpoint is like this customer list is kind of like a living, breathing aging report that you're able to customize which columns are showing, the size that they're in, the order that they're in, throw all your filters down. So no longer needing to export out to Excel, slice and dice and work in aging that way. And this again is in real time. We're syncing with Dynamics about every 15 to 30 minutes. And then same thing at the invoice level, same kind of view we just had. We're going to bring that AR inbox into a solution so you can continue to treat your Gmail or Outlook as your personal email and have that AR email in one central location. So, and then last thing is if there are multi-entity companies out there that are looking for this, we can load in all the different subsidiaries and entities, permission users just at certain entity level, have different branding in the emails that are going out to your customer base based off, that entity, and the bank accounts hooked up there can be different. So that was a lot of information very quickly, but the goal is just to automate as much of the collection workflow as we can, loop your team in when attention is needed, and then reduce the friction between you and your customer base and help collect those payments faster and easier wherever they are in the world. So hopefully that made sense. Tried to stay right on time here, Amy. And
thank you. I appreciate it.